And today I am coming with an impromptu. This is not my normal time to do lives, but I have been receiving a lot of spiritual upgrades, and it is time for me to start sharing those messages, okay? Now, if you are new here, welcome. If you have been here with me rocking for a while, welcome back. You know, I have been announcing that we are going through changes. One thing you may have noticed is the name change, okay? So, guiding timelines with Umi Jua is the new name change. Now, I am doing all of this for the people who would come later, so you understand where you are. As Umi Jua, I am a seer, oracle, psychic, diviner, whatever you like to call it. But I am excited about coming in and sharing messages from the divine. I normally go live on Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And do card readings. But today, that is not the format. That is not the lesson. Today, we are doing a School of Life lesson, and this one is on misinterpreting the matrix. Why are so many spiritual people feeling lost and disconnected? Okay. I know many people, give me a thumbs up as you come in. I know many people like to use the Matrix, the movie, as a sort of guide, or something to help us interpret what we're dealing with, what we're going through, or how we see and view the world. Many of us do see the life and the existence of humanity as a matrix or a simulation of some kind. Doesn't matter how you see it. Your life is your life. Your world is your world. And how you interpret it will come through your own eyes, your experiences, how you have navigated life, the influences in your life, etc., etc. Okay. Hey, Anna, you guys hit that like and subscribe on your way in. Now, for the sake of time and for the sake of the amount of information I want to get through, I may miss your comments, guys. I'm most likely not going to respond. Hello, Ricardo. I'm most likely not going to be responding to comments right now because I really have been channeling. I could not get through my breakfast this morning without having to write down a lot of stuff, just based on just some things that I've been seeing, things I've been hearing, things that people have been feeling when they come to me for personal readings and spiritual guidance. It is a great time of just feeling burdened and overloaded with life in general, but also with the symptoms of awakening, with the some people feel the heaviness of, once you begin to awaken, how different you are and how different you see the world. You do feel a major disconnect, right? You can go through a what we call a dark night of the soul. It is a time of very deep reckoning with who you have been, who you're meant to be, and how you fit into the world. Okay, so hit that like and subscribe on your way in if you haven't already. Again, this is not normally what I do. Normally I come in on Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central and do card readings, but I will be doing more of these channeled messages as well. I typically always go live when I have something to do here on my channel, because I know that this energy is very, very powerful when there's a live exchange, either whether here via YouTube or whether when I do personal readings one-on-one, either here in my space or online. Okay, so let's jump into these reasons that people who are awakened or awakening tend to feel disconnected. Trigger warning, okay? If you are very sensitive and you take things to heart, Let me tell you, these are channeled messages. This is not an attack from me. This is not me trying to say you are this way. If it doesn't apply, let it fly, okay? Oh, Anna, I feel blessed to be here as well. Okay, if 144 on the clock, so on the ticker here. So if you are here, you are part of the collective and welcome, okay? So let me just get through these one at a time. Again, if I miss your comments, don't take it to heart. I am just going to go by the list and by the book. I have some bullet points here that were given to me, and I'm going to tackle these as specifically as I can. I may have to take a few deep breaths in between, okay? Because this is, it can be, pretty deep. And again, trigger warning. Don't be sensitive, okay? If you want to elevate and if you want to grow, you have to be willing and able to take love, truth, and authenticity as it comes. And that's my motto here. That's what I believe in. Love, truth, and authenticity as a groundwork for self-love and peace that surpasses all understanding. Number one, okay? One of the first reasons, these are not in any particular order, but one of the first reasons that so many spiritually awakened people or awakening people feel disconnected is because there tends to start to be a judgment of those who have not awakened yet, right? There is a disconnect in the flow of how you see yourself versus these people. So it becomes a competition of awakening. It becomes a competition of the woke. Oh, these people are this way and these people are that way, when at some point in time we were these people, okay? And we start to, there can be, and this is not everyone, guys, hit that like and subscribe and share the live, okay? But this is not everyone, but there can be a superiority complex that comes with being awakened. And you can tell when that is activated, right? Because at some point in our lives, we all want to feel special, right? We all want to feel like we matter, like we have a place, and like that place is higher up and not lower down, okay? And so we can naturally, when we come to a place of dissension, where we pull away from the norm, we can start to feel some sort of superiority complex. And that in itself separates us, right? It makes us feel different, even more different, but special and unique in a way that is really not your doing. I mean, you had to go through some steps, yeah, to be awakened, but you are not the essence of the awakening, okay? That is God power. And you are blessed and lucky to have woken up. And so seeing it from that perspective, you start to feel less heavy, okay? Because you know that you yourself were once unawakened, but you are still no different from people who have not. You are just vibrating at a different frequency, okay? Preferably and hopefully a higher frequency. But listen, a lot of people don't know. You can be awakened and still vibrating low, okay? We're going to talk about that more as we go on. The second reason is that a lot of people complain rather than observing and adjusting. Okay? Hit that like, hit that thumbs up, and share the live, okay? When you complain about the matrix, what we see out here in the world, it brings down your vibrations naturally. When you start to awaken, your first mind needs to be on observing what you see objectively and tweaking, adjusting, and fulfilling those pockets in your life that go along with your awakening, okay? Not to complain or criticize, oh, the prices are going up. Oh, people are this, and the government is that, and when you start to understand your God essence, you have a sense of knowing in yourself that none of these things really affect you, right? Because if you are tapped into something that's way higher than you, it is way higher than this system as well, any system. So that's why you need to observe objectively, and then say, oh, okay, well, that doesn't affect me, and if it does, how do I navigate my life where I just simply remain in peace and knowing that I am okay? All right. So that is the second thing. Come out of complaining or seeing the things around you as opposition, and see them as lessons, experiments, things that can help navigate and guide where you want to go and who you want to be. Okay. Um, the next one we have is, I can't hardly read my own writing. Oh, okay. Buying into the program instead of realizing that they are the program. You are the program. You are everything. Okay. You are the programmer. You are the program. Okay. And you are the characters in the program. Okay. You are everything. Nothing is external from you. Okay. Nothing around you has more power than you. I will express that 1,000 times. Okay. But you give the program more power when you focus on it outside of who you are more than who you are. Okay. So you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share the live. Okay. Um, so buying into the program, again, it looks like complaining. It looks like, thinking that everything around you is dark. It looks like believing things that are just heavy and negative, as opposed to having what some call toxic positivity, which I think is an oxymoron, because positivity cannot be toxic. Like, the two can't go together. They are two very different scales and perspectives. Okay. So, but having an idea of joy, of peace, of happiness, of growth, these things are very, very necessary. Okay. They are meant to drive you forward in the program. They are meant to help you create the program and recreate the program according to what you are here to do, according to what's meant for you. Okay. If any of this is resonating with you, or you're understanding or liking what you hear, fire up the comments for me. Okay. Give me some fire emojis, some hearts, whatever resonates. Okay. All right. So buying into the program means, what does that mean? Buying into the program. That means whatever they're selling, you are giving part of yourself to own. Okay. When you create your own program, you are the entrepreneur of your life. You get to build it however you want. You get to charge the energies outside of you whatever you want in order to exchange your energy for it. Okay. So you are the maker, the creator, the builder of the program, if you choose to be. Okay. Again, I hope this isn't triggering. All right. Fire up those comments for me. Thank you, Anna, for the fire emojis. Okay. You guys hit that like and subscribe. Okay. So we are on number 4. I will be timestamping these later, but you can timestamp them for yourself if anything resonates that you want to hold on to. Okay. The other reason, number 4, these are in no particular order. Remember, fire up those comments, share the live, and hit that like on your way in. We are talking about how we misinterpret the matrix, and why so many spiritual people who are awakening or awakened feel disconnected or lost or whatever. Trigger warning. Okay. Some of these may not resonate. If they do and they trigger you, that means your soul needs to hear it. And you just take it as that. I don't know you personally, so I'm not here to hurt you. I only operate in love, truth, and authenticity when I present information. Information is simply knowledge that's presented to help us put in formation of our life and where it needs to fit or be discarded. Okay? All right. So, number 4, we use our feelings as our entire reality rather than guideposts to a higher truth. Okay? Hit that like and subscribe and share the live. Our feelings are not reality. They are not the entirety of everything, right? If we feel angry, if we feel sad, if we feel hurt, if we feel disrespected, all those are simple guideposts and stoplights, okay? They are just navigation tools. That's what feelings are. When we attach too much to them, because feelings are moving entities, when we attach too much of our identity and our being to them, then at that point they begin to anchor within us. Okay, they become trapped in our inner circle, in our aura, okay, in our energy, INN energy, okay, energy, okay. They become trapped into our fascia, our tissues, our body, and they resonate out from our electromagnetic field of our heart, which is our greatest and strongest, most powerful organ and energy center. Okay, so you guys hit that like and subscribe. So when you attach too much of your reality to your feelings, then you get lost in the sauce, okay, of this life and of this world and of the things around you instead of what's inside of you. And all of that starts to become a part of you. It goes inside, okay? This is another reason why it's important to be the observer, and rather than let these things be your identity, okay? This goes the same for labels and, I'm a woman, so therefore all these things must happen because I'm a woman. No, I am first and foremost a spiritual being. That is where I should operate from, okay? So whatever feelings I have, again, they are guideposts and they are navigation points for life, okay? They are the tree and the yellow dog around the left corner where you might see the robot man down at the corner store, okay? They are here to direct us to where we need to go or want to go, all right? So let me put another one here that's coming to mind. All right, so let me get through that one. Okay, and then the next reason that so many of us feel disconnected when we come to an awakening, we're misinterpreting the matrix. And I will explain what that means when I wrap everything up, okay? Hit that like and subscribe and share the live. If any of this is resonating with you, fire up the chats. If it's making you think, fire up the chat. Give me fire emojis, heart emojis, whatever resonates with you, okay? You can also leave super stickers or donations of any kind as well, okay? The next one is believing that happiness doesn't really exist or that it doesn't exist in the matrix. If you don't know that you can be happy, if you don't know that there is happiness for spiritual beings, hello, Nikita, then you will never obtain it. You will never have it. What you have is who you are, and who you are is what you have. That is not an external thing. That starts as an identity of happiness, okay? If you're going to take on identities, take on the ones that match who you really are. That's where shadow work and all that stuff comes in, getting to know who you really are. A lot of us, we take shadow work and it makes us really start disliking ourselves. We don't know that. We don't admit that. We aren't really conscious of it. But if you take shadow work to understand that this is a way for you to push out the dark, not push out, but embrace the dark parts of yourself and use them in a way that helps elevate you, or you send them to sleep. You make those parts dormant because they are holding you back. Okay, but they are not meant to make you feel this darkness, this heaviness, this unhappiness. Okay, they are meant to turn the lights on. You go into the darkness, into the shadows. You can see light a whole lot better in the darkness than you can when you're standing in a whole bunch of light. Okay, but the shadows are meant to help you. When you go into that shadow work, it's meant to help you step out into the light, into a happier life. Okay, so don't get caught up in the feelings and the dark. Okay, that's what viewing the matrix is. Okay, that's what we were talking about in 1, 2, and 3, points 1, 2, and 3. When you're viewing the matrix through a dark lens, it's gonna look dark. It's gonna look very bleak. Okay, and you can't view happiness, feel happiness, understand happiness, or know happiness from that place. Okay, all right, let's go on to number 6. Another reason and why we misinterpret the matrix, and so many spiritual people, you guys hit that like, subscribe, and share the live on your way in. So many people are feeling disconnected after an awakening is because they are attached to struggle. Okay, we talk a lot in the psychological spaces and even sometimes in spiritual spaces about attachment styles, right? There's the secure attachment, the fearful avoidant, the dismissive avoidant, the anxious, all of these things. You guys hit that like and subscribe and share the live. Okay, but our attachment style is just one aspect of how we attach. Okay, we get attached to struggle in itself. All right, we get attached to thinking that things have to be hard in order for us to get any joy or peace or love out of them. We are told all the time that you have to work to make a marriage work. You have to work hard to earn money. You have to work hard to earn a degree. You have to work hard to care for your children. You have to work hard on yourself to better your life. And so we have gotten into this program, again, that's dealing with number 3, but we have gotten into this program of believing that struggle is how we obtain good things, righteous things, healthy things, great things, right? When we can set aside the mindset of struggle and we reframe what it is that we are doing in accordance to what we want to have, right? We see the happiness on the other side of what we're doing or what we want to do to get there. When we put our focus there, then we won't have a feeling of struggle to get there. We will just live and operate in the place that we're already at over here. Okay, this is timeline jumping and all this kind of stuff they talk about. But all it is getting a visualization and living there. That's all it is. It's not all this like lottie-dottie hootie-dootie, howdy doody woo-woo-woo stuff. Okay, hit that like and subscribe and share the live. Okay, fire up the comments for me if you're feeling what I'm saying, if you digging up what I'm putting down. Okay. All right, so but yeah, getting attached to struggle, it's one of the biggest problems that we face, because the human body does not struggle to do what it needs to do unless we introduce things to it that are contrary to its natural rhythm. You are not meant to struggle. Okay? When you introduce things into your atmosphere, your orbit, your thoughts, your feelings, mostly your thoughts, your feelings, okay? When you introduce things into this, and your body, okay, whether that be through sex, whether that be food, whether that be through too much screen time, whether that be through too much noise, all the things, never settling down, allowing yourself to be in the quiet, sit in the dark for a while, shut off your senses, go to sleep, all the things, then your body has to struggle to make it, right? It's the same way with your psyche and the things you want to obtain in life. When you're introducing struggle in order to get there, then the road there will be struggle. But if you get there first, here and here, then you won't have to struggle to get there. What needs to happen automatically will happen. Okay? There may be some detours along the way because, this is a new experience. This is a new life, trying to live ease, trying to live in peace, trying to live a normal, natural system of life. It's not something that you're used to because, again, you are attached to struggle. It's time to break those attachments, okay? Struggle is not necessary to have happiness. That's the first thing you got to know. Not believe, but know. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we are on is being the target of triggers rather than the trigger itself or the weapon. Okay. We misunderstand what being triggered really is. We have taken triggered and turned it into this thing attached with our feelings that we can't, like blows us up. Right? But when you become the trigger, right? You aim, something is aiming. You become the weapon. You're the one. You become the weapon holder, the weapon, and the trigger. All right? You get to decide where you're aiming to. You get to decide where your energy, that bullet, is going to go. You get to decide whether or not to pull the trigger. Okay? All of this means is you are the director of your energy. You are the holder. You are the holder. You are the power. Okay? You get to decide where you direct your energy. Okay, no, Anna, we're not doing cards tonight. That is Sundays and Wednesdays. What I am doing now is a channeled message and this is a guiding timelines message, okay? But yeah, you get to decide what power you hold and where you want to direct it. When that happens, and you need to do that, especially when you're dealing with other people. But this comes through that quiet that I was telling you about, that getting to know yourself. When you know yourself, no one can knock you off your square, okay? When you know yourself, no one can say anything that's going to trigger you. You are not going to need to argue. You're not going to need to be a keyboard warrior and you got to stand your ground or make your point, or you're not going to be out here getting in other people's business or, doing the things. Y'all know the things, okay? You're just going to simply go about and mind your business, love your life, love yourself, and whatever doesn't resonate, that ain't about me. Whatever doesn't, if it doesn't apply, you can let it fly. That's not me. That's not about me. Or if it does resonate, right? Or if it is something that is that does kind of, that stung, then you can take it and you apply it as information, right? That is knowledge that can be taken and put in formation of the life you want to create, or it can be discarded, or parts of it can be taken and parts of it not. That is what resonates. Take it. What doesn't, leave it. Okay? That's how you just have to operate. Okay? All right. The next reason that, number 8, some of us feel disconnected and misinterpret the matrix when we have an awakening. Hit that like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up, okay? Is we become self-centered. Let me take a sip on that. We become self-centered. and the whole world becomes about us. And we think that that is other people. We think that that is how the matrix is built. The matrix is not built to think only of itself. We think it is, but it's not. The matrix includes ideas for the whole, whether they be perfect ideas, whether they be loving ideas, whether they be, ideas to control, or whatever the ideas are. They are inclusive of the whole. But sometimes when we awaken, we get so focused on, wow, I see now. And all we can do is, I see, I see, I see, I feel, I think, I. And all we're seeing with these two, we think we're seeing with this one. But no, we're seeing with these two. We are just sensing that things are off, right? We are connecting the dots, but they are not leading us back to self in a way that says, oh, this is how this affected me. But we start to focus on the people who are unawakened, like we talk about in number 1. We start to focus on the systems. We start to focus on all the things and how it's affecting us, and how, oh, this is so bad, and how, look at how this is going on and that is going on, and everything comes back here, but not in a way that helps us to grow, where we get to the place where we can affect it, the outer, what's outside of us, in a more positive way. That doesn't mean that you're going to become some big guru or saint or anything like that. That doesn't mean you're going to go buy 100 acres of land and start farming and doing whatever. I'm not saying any of that is bad. I've wanted land and all that myself at a point in time, and I may again. But what it's saying is, you get to a place within yourself where your dharma, your mission, your personal life path is not self-centered. It's selfish. Okay, you get to a place where you have to protect your energy. You have to do your routines, your things that make you feel grounded, settled, alive, and knowing, that keep you knowing. You manage your energy very well. Who's coming in and out, who's accessing it, things like that. Hit that like and subscribe, share the live. Okay, you manage those things better, so that when you do go out, your heart chakra, it resonates love. Okay, and all of that affects the atmosphere wherever you go. You don't have to go do grand gestures or anything like that. You carry what the love needs in it, what the world needs in it, through the love that radiates from your heart space, from the electromagnetic field, or your aura that you are. Okay, so take your mind off how everything is oh, this hurts, that this does this, and my mom and them did this, and my boss is doing this. No, it's not about them. Okay, but they're all doing it to you, when the universe is doing everything for you, when the Most High is doing everything for you, when your spirit team is doing everything for you and with you and through you. Don't concern yourself with whatever is doing something to you. That's just external. We only see about 1% of what is real. And that's because we make it real. Okay? All right. So the next one we are going to talk about, number 9, is, you guys hit that like and subscribe and share the live, okay? I know I'm not responding to comments, and no, I'm not doing any card reading today. Okay, normal card reading times are Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and first and third Fridays for members. Okay, the format for that is changing. The channel has gone through a name change. There are changes happening here. All right, so just flow with me. The next one, number 9, misinterpreting the matrix. Why so many spiritual people feel lost, disconnected, etc. Okay? It's just too much and too many. Too much and too many. Okay? Too many voices, too much fake light, too much disconnection from our sensuality and our intuition. It's just too much. Okay? Our nervous systems are inherently connected to divine energy. Okay, it's like a stream that runs up our, what we call chakras, but it runs up our nervous system into the heavens. Okay, Jacob's ladder, all the things. Okay, when we take on too much, we're not doing the things that quiet, silence, calm down the nervous system. Okay, we have no choice but to be on edge, to be anxious, to be nervous, to be angry, to be all the things, especially if we are taking in information, an overload of information from everything except our inner being, from our God source, from the light within. We're on TikTok, getting all the spiritual information. We're on Facebook getting all the spiritual information, right? We're on YouTube getting all the government conspiracies, and we're over here watching the fight videos, and we're over here watching the racism videos, and we're over here, you know what I mean? Everything that's proving that the matrix is bad. But we're not sitting down in the light. We're not soaking in the love. We're not being still in the beauty that is the God in us, in the essence of all life and source. What does that look like? That looks like doing your meditation. That looks like touching grass, going and sitting outside, putting your feet in the grass. That looks like taking a walk in the sun. That looks like standing out in the rain, looking around, seeing what the birds are doing. That means sitting quietly in your house, just doing nothing. No TV, no radio, no phone, no meditation, no nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You just sitting there. Yeah, lights off or on, doesn't matter. The artificial light does affect, your nervous system if you're getting too much of it on a regular basis. That's why if you work in a warehouse or an office or something where you're constantly in artificial light and you got all these people around, their energies to manage, then you got your work to do. You're doing, you're working. Your nervous system is not getting a chance to calm down, and then you go home and you turn the TV on. This is not judgment, okay? Because sometimes you need TV to turn your brain off, because some of us think a lot. So when the TV comes on, the brain turns off, okay? Same thing with scrolling. When we're scrolling, the brain goes off, the algorithm turns on on your social media or whatever you're scrolling. The algorithm turns on. That's why I prefer to read articles and blogs and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, there's too much and too many. And we're getting overloaded. And imagine, now think about this, right? You got all this stuff going on, but then you've had an awakening. That's a double whammy. Your nervous system is like, then you become even more heightened, more insecure, more worried. Okay? So you've got to turn off the too manys. You've definitely got to. Turn off the too manys and turn on what you're not doing enough of. Okay? And that's doing things that calm you, that settle you, that help the body heal. Okay? That calms your nervous system and your mind so you can release trauma. Breath work. Okay? Visualizing and imagining. That brings peace to you if you're imagining positive, loving, lighthearted things. Or I tell my regular viewers all the time, get you a vision for your life and don't let nobody knock you off that square. But how can you have vision? Without a vision, people perish. I know you've heard that, the people perish. But how can you have vision if you ain't even sitting still enough for your eyes to be directed in the way that you want them to go? You must be still. You must be still and know that I am God. You must be still. Okay, hit that like and that subscribe, share the live, right? Also included in this is not being able to act from your intuition and to lead with your sensuality. Okay, let me explain what that means. Your intuition is your inner tutor. Inner tutor. Intuition. Shun means in action. Your inner tutor in action. Intuition. Okay. Your tutor can't teach you nothing if you always running around. If you always, have you seen kids that won't be still, won't be still? Are they listening to anything you're telling them? No. You have to start to be quiet and to be still so that your inner tutor can speak to you. And you can go through life being able to hear it and know it whenever it speaks. Okay? Your sensuality. If you're hypersexual or undersexed, okay? If you're self-touching without the intention or direction to open up your sacral chakra, if you are watching certain things that disconnect sex from love, okay? Those things that help you tap into your sensual nature, they have to be connected with love and pure intention, okay? So that you can enhance whatever essence you identify with, whether masc or femme. If you identify with neither, you still need to work from this area, because that's where your sacral chakra lives and where your creativity lives. Okay, so you must be in a space of creativity in order to create the life you want. All right, so you have to get into a space where you respect the sacredness of your womb, your testes, okay, testicles, whatever you want to call them, your man member, your woman parts. All right, you have to get into a place where you know that those are sacred. Am I preaching abstinence? That's a personal choice. I'm talking about the intention behind what you're doing there. Okay, I'm talking about the essence of the feelings behind what you're doing there. Okay, that is the portion of where you create from. That's where you bring life from. So it has to be viewed as sacred. It has to not only be viewed as sacred, but treated as sacred, right? You keep it clean. All right. You don't attach to energies in that area that don't align with your vision for yourself. Okay. If you are a person who self-touches, what is the nature? Is it just to release? Or is it to awaken that part of yourself to feel more connected with your body and to feel beautiful, feel, light, to, connect to parts of yourself that have been asleep or dormant, or parts of yourself that are, you got all this anger and you're like, you know what? I want to really feel more loving and I want to create more love for myself. Go into it with that intention, right? Whatever you want to create from a loving space, if you self-touch, you do it from that space, okay? You're going to get the release anyway, all right? But you're creating with intention. 1111 on the ticker here. Thank you guys. Hit that like and subscribe and share the live. All right? We are going to do number 10 and then I am going to wrap up, okay? The number 10 reason that we misinterpret the matrix and why so many people feel lost and disconnected when they have an awakening, okay, is that we are desperate for answers rather than being still and present in the knowing. Being desperate for answers rather than being still and present in the knowing. Okay? Knowing is not an easy place to get to. Because again, we have become attached to struggle. We have become attached to seeing the outer things as greater than the inner. We have been more attached to external triggers than being the power itself behind what we want. And so healthy detachment, detaching from all the things that I've listed previously and attaching to that God essence, that higher inner self, right? That most high consciousness, that universal support, okay? We begin to hear, act, do whatever from a place of knowing. And when you have that, you don't have to seek answers. They come. When you have that, you don't feel a desperation for making things happen like that for yourself. They come. Okay? So, I want you guys to understand that there is no believing, there is no faith without knowing. If you're just believing or you have faith and there's not a sense of knowing, I mean, knowing is way deeper, okay? Because beliefs can change based on information, all right? Faith can change based on external circumstances. One day you got all the faith in the world, but let something go wrong. Let faith going out the window, okay? One day you have set yourself on believing something, and then let something comes along that rocks the core of that belief. Now you all shaken up inside. Cognitive dissonance. Okay? But when you know, and knowing is not about information, knowing is about energy. Energy. Knowing is about that connection to that God essence. That's the most high, that's universal consciousness, that's your angel team, that's, ancestors, all the portions of your spirit team. You and them are locked in, and nothing and no one is getting in between that. And you are on the right path no matter what. Okay? Now, I talked about getting a vision for your life. Okay? This is number 11, and then I'm going to go into the explanation of the matrix, right? We started in the beginning. Yes, Alex, energy in I energy. Okay. We started at the beginning talking about how a lot of spiritual people use the movie The Matrix as their, their guide for a lot of teaching and whatever. But what I want to say is, first, getting a vision for your life. I mentioned this twice previously, but I'm going to mention it a third time because I wanted to anchor in. You have to have a vision for your life so that you can be there already. It eliminates the struggle. It eliminates the judgment. It eliminates the desperation, all of that stuff that gets in the way of you operating from your higher self, which is your vision of you in totality and fullness, fulfillment. Okay? Your vision is your fulfillment visualized. Okay? Now, getting to the movie The Matrix. If you look at where the people were and how they lived who had awakened, right? The ones who were plugged in. unplugged from the matrix, but plugged into whatever new thinking. They lived in a cave in squalor. Struggle mode. They were constantly fighting Mr. Smith and the Matrix. Struggle mode. Neo was constantly searching for the oracle and the origin or the God of the Matrix. Struggle. The only one at peace in the Matrix was the oracle. You don't become awakened to struggle. You become awakened to be an oracle. To be at peace. To live in knowing. You don't look for answers, you become the answer. Or the answer giver, I should say. You become connected to the answer, the source, and you're able to help other people get there. The idea was not for Neo to get information to go find the God of the Matrix. The idea was to find the oracle so that the oracle could awaken the God in Neo, not for him to fight, not for him to struggle, and not for him to live in squalor in a cave with awakened people. It was for him to build out his own little world within the Matrix or wherever, okay, and find peace. Hating money does not make you spiritual. Living in struggle does not make you spiritual. Fighting the Matrix does not make you spiritual. Fighting the man, fighting anything, struggling at anything does not make you spiritual, and it does not help your spiritual evolution in the slightest. It keeps you more in the dark, and it stifles your awakening even more. To be enlightened means to live in the light. If you are not planning to go full-on monk status, then you need to learn how to operate in this matrix with joy, peace, and love, and use it to your advantage to create the vision for your life so that you can get out of selfishness, get out of struggle. You can help yourself and help those you decide to help based on your vision. You can offer people a cup of sugar, or you can offer them a housing complex that helps them help themselves. You decide. You can offer people a cup of sugar. You can be a good neighbor. Stay in your struggle, and the only thing you have to offer them is a cup of sugar and some nice words and a smile, which ain't bad. If that's all you want to offer, that's your choice. Okay? Or you can get to a place within self, or get to a place within higher self, where you take what the matrix has put out, you make the money from that matrix, and you go be a good neighbor and build a housing complex where people can get out of struggle, not by giving them a handout, but you give them a place where they can step up. If that's what you want to do. What's your idea of helping people get out of struggle? Is it become an herbalist? Well, you know what? Herbs cost money. Is it to become a yoga instructor? Yoga mats cost money. Retreats cost money. Okay. Is it to be, a holistic chef, a holistic nutritionist? The education for that costs money, if it's a true one. Okay. The time and the energy that you have to spend in it costs. Okay. So the matrix is not the problem. The matrix is not the enemy. It's your view of self. Your view of self can either be your help or your hindrance. It can be your light or your darkness. But the world is not the problem. Okay? Now, We are coming up on 1 hour. I am going to go ahead and sign off. Okay. This was your message. Okay. For the day. Um, Again, if you are new here, welcome. If you are one of my OGs and you're here or you catch this later, I know it is a very different thing than what we usually do. Sundays and Wednesdays, I am here reading cards, 6 p.m. Central Time, USA. First and third Fridays, I'm also here reading cards, but mostly for my members. That is members VIP night, okay? But we have gone through a channel name change, and we are going through a lot of changes, and this is one of them. I will be bringing channeled messages. Again, I received this one while I was trying to have breakfast this morning. That yogurt with those strawberries and cinnamon and walnuts was really, really good. I didn't want to put it down to pick up my pen, okay? But yeah, I will be doing more channeled messages, things that have been coming to mind that I just haven't wanted to share because, you know, a lot of this stuff can be triggering, and I hope you are not triggered by it. You're very welcome, Anna. I'm glad it helped. I'm glad it was amazing for you. It was amazing for me too. I do not get up and get out and do things or present things. Thank you, Samara. Thank you. You guys hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this live, okay? But I do not present things that I have not either lived through or studied very, very heavily. And then once I have, and I've gotten to a place where my central nervous system has connected to it, then I can present it very easily. Okay. Thank you, Samara. Thank you. So yeah, this is one of the things, one of the changes that we'll be making. If you follow me, or not follow me, if you are subscribed to the channel, then you will see those changes being announced on the community tab or the post tab. Okay. So just continue to make sure that your notifications are on so that you will see those posts and announcements coming through. All right. I thank you guys for spending this time with me. This was an actual channeled message. It was a reading. It just did not come with cards, and there was no woo-woo stuff. Okay. Education in the form, spiritual education is a reading. Okay. That's one thing that I would like people to get used to and understand, that it doesn't always look like what I'm seeing for you is, and you know, what I'm hearing from the divine. I'm always listening to the divine, love. Always. Okay. Always. I want you guys to be happy. Wonderful, Samara. Wonderful. I want you guys to be happy, and I want you to know that you can be. Okay. And I want you to get as far in life as you want to go. I'm in school right now. I'm in my senior year of undergrad studying consciousness and human potential, because these are things that I have gravitated towards my whole life, and now to be able to get a degree in it is wonderful. It's not necessary, because I know what I know and I'm learning day by day from the divine, but it's just something I've always wanted to do for myself. Number one was get a degree or finish my degree, and number two, to get it in an area that really, really interests me. Okay, so that's part of the vision that I have for my life. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Get a vision for your life, and don't let nobody knock you off that square, and be very, very happy with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with that degree. I just want it because I can have it. Okay, so that is getting off struggle mode. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining. Again, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share the live. If you come back and catch this later, and you want to leave a super thanks, that would be awesome. Or you can look in the link to book a personal reading with me. Whatever works for you and whatever helps me and you grow. Okay? Until next time, I am Jua, and you have been read. Bye-bye.